Hello and welcome to the show. Listen, we've got a great show planned for you. This is all about new beginnings. This year has been about doing what God has purposed you to do. I'm a Christian and I'm going to keep saying it and saying it over again. But just thinking about those things, those new opportunities that come your way, new things that come into your life. So just think about that as we go through the whole year. But this month we're celebrating the beauty of motherhood. But this is also Mental Health Awareness Month. So I have a double treat for you. She's a phenomenal woman. Miss Jessica Rojas is going to join us. So I just want you to sit back, relax, and enjoy because it's coming up next. Be the Bridge Foster SC is hosting its first Bridge Walk-a-thon on Saturday, May 20th, 2023, 10:30 a.m. to 4 o'clock p.m. Eddystone Memorial Gardens, 200 Riverside Drive, Orangeburg, South Carolina. To register for the walk, visit www.bethebridge-fostersc.org. Again, that's Be the Bridge Foster SC is hosting its first Bridge Walk-a-thon on Saturday, May 20th, 2023, 10:30 a.m. to 4 o'clock p.m. Eddystone Memorial Gardens, 200 Riverside Drive, Orangeburg, South Carolina. To register for the walk, visit www.bethebridge-fostersc.org. The Cecil Williams South Carolina Civil Rights Museum is the Palmetto State's first and only museum. It honors a generation of people, black and white, throughout the state of South Carolina who deserve to be remembered for their unselfish commitments and sacrifices. Enjoy an immersive and entertaining virtual tour. For more information, visit www.cecilwilliams.com.
Hello, everybody. It's Finkley of The Michael Finkley Show, and you're watching Gold right now. Why? You're watching The Tammy Show. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to the show. Listen, I told you we've got a great show planned for you. Be the Bridge. And I just want to say, yes, that was Saturday, May the 20th, and they had a great time. I'm one of the advisory board members, and it's for foster children. And so I hope that you will at least support it and go on the website and see about what we're all about. But I told you, we've got a great show planned for you. This is Mental Health Awareness Month. That's what May is all about, as well as I've been talking about the beauty of motherhood. And so we have a double treat. We have, phenomenal woman. She's a clinical supervisor, business owner, therapist, founder of her own nonprofit organization. She's studied business administration with a focus in real estate and finance at Temple University. And she currently lives in Charleston, South Carolina, and has two beautiful children. So without further ado, I want to bring from backstage, Miss Jessica Rojas. I love saying that. Hey, Jessica.
Hey, how are you, Tammy?
Fine. How are you? Rojas. See, that's the way Rojas. Rojas, it rolls off. Yeah. So Jessica, thank you so much for being on the show. It's a pleasure to have you on the show. As I told folks, this is a double treat. You're a mother, a licensed professional counselor, associate.
Yes.
Wow, that's a mouthful. So I want you to kind of tell us a little about yourself and about your family.
Yes, so I am an LPCA, and within just a few months, I'll be a licensed professional counselor. And at that point, that kind of opens up the doors there. I'm actually a Charleston native by way, I say, of Philadelphia. I was born and raised here until I was like 12 years old, and then moved up to the Northeast, went to Temple University, moved around, and eventually got my master's in clinical psychology from a Christian college, Palm Beach Atlantic University in West Palm Beach, Florida. I have two beautiful children. They are ages 9 going on 25, and a cute little boy who just turned 7. And I am a single mom for the moment.
Mm-hmm. For the moment. So that means on the horizon. Does that mean on the horizon that there is marriage?
There's someone in the picture. Yes.
Oh, well, wonderful. Congratulations. That's beautiful. Well, listen, what influenced you to become a therapist?
Let me start by saying that I've worked in corporate America for quite a long time. And being in corporate America, I will say that I was selling, I'm naturally a salesperson and a businesswoman. I was selling tobacco, which is completely contradictory to who I am as a person and as a Christian. I literally was selling a sin product. And there was a time when it was, I had transferred from real estate to selling tobacco. And then I went back into sales and I found myself just really not fulfilled at work. And so I was looking for fulfillment and I was looking for a career path that would change my trajectory and my professional scope, but primarily to answer the call that was on my life because I knew the greatest gift that God had ever given me was my heart. And so I went back to school in 2000, I believe it was 2009, to pursue my master's degree in clinical psych, ultimately to open up my own practice for women and to do basically therapy for women. And this is basically how I found myself. I went for fulfillment across the
Mhm.
board.
Wow. And having talking about that, and we're, like I said, this is Mental Health Awareness Month. And
Mhm,
you not only are you a therapist, but you
mhm.
also are a clinical supervisor as well.
Correct. I am.
Yeah. And so what does that mean?
So basically, that means I have 11 schools in the upper part of North Charleston, and where I oversee school-based mental health for the Department of Mental Health. Currently, I'm literally about to have 6 people on my team. My team will probably be up to 9 that I have, and those are the clinicians that do the work. So those are the people who are hands-on, who are providing therapy, whether it's cognitive behavioral. I just helped to create, really spearheaded our summer program that we have for Charleston County. We provide DBT, family therapy, and a whole assortment of different things. But so I'm over those schools in the area, and it's a phenomenal opportunity that I have to be able to hone clinical skills and the craft of other clinicians who are under my leadership.
Wow. Wow. And that says a lot. I want to get back to being a mother because
Yes.
not only are you a clinical supervisor, LPCA, you
Hmm.
also, as you said, have your beautiful daughter and your son. Talk
Yes.
about balancing. How are you able to balance that, working with people and their problems, and then also dealing with your family as a single mom right now?
I think it's really important when we move into private practice to really develop and to focus our niche. And so, in particular, um, the treatment that I'm offering would typically be for people who are suffering with anxiety, depression, and transitions in life. So I really don't deal with the severely mentally ill population, which helps me manage a lot of the crises and things that could happen on the outside of that. Um, because I'm also a real estate professional, real estate broker, and I'm big on time blocking and blocking time. I understand what that looks like, and so for me, I know that when I go to work and I work really hard, when I go to work at DMH Monday through Friday, because in the evening times I do provide therapy as well virtually, and then Saturdays I do in person. I know
Mhm.
that I've got to carve out, my 6 o'clock to 9 o'clock window for my children, and they need my undivided attention. So we focus on homework. We do a lot of prayer. We definitely do studying, making sure my daughter, praise the Lord, has been able to be on the honor roll for 2 semesters,
Mm,
going into her third one. She'll close out the school year on AB honor roll. And they both continue to do well. But it takes a
wonderful.
lot of intention. You have to be really intentional about what you're doing.
Yeah. And, as you're talking about that, one of the questions that comes to mind is about the businesses that you have,
Hmm.
because you talk about being this clinical supervisor for all of these schools in Charleston,
Hmm.
and you talk about being a real estate agent. And
Hmm.
so how do you mesh all that together? How are they complementing each other?
Well, let me say this. I will tell you that I'm very good at juggling. However, I have decided to kind of put my whole real estate, um, I hate to say business, but career goals at the moment on the back end, just simply because you can't really manage to do all of those things well if you're going to do them.
Mhm.
So while I'm licensed, I really haven't sold a whole lot of real estate recently, quite frankly, but I am very busy in private practice. And so right now, that's really my mission. And I know what God really called me to do is to be a therapist and to emancipate God's people through mental health. And so that's
Mhm.
been my focus. Charleston County mental health, I'm able to balance it because I know what I'm doing. My goal is to have my clinicians trained appropriately to provide appropriate care to our patients, as well as provide the documentation that we need to support that, and to give them, those are like my children, so to speak, and I'm there to hone them and to help give them what they need. And so knowing that that's what I do 9 to 5, and then when I come home, I see my kids, and if I have to do therapy in the evening time, I will solicit help. And I think that's one of the things that we need to do as moms.
Mm-hmm.
We need to learn to ask for help and try to, instead of trying to be the superwoman, we've got to solicit when we need the help. So on occasion, I have my babysitter, or as in tonight, I have a family member to cover for me. But I've even titrated back my level of therapy during the week because my kids need me, and they're at a foundational stage where they need their mom.
Yeah, 7 and 9 years old. Yeah,
Yes.
most definitely. And so what is your general philosophy and approach to helping folks? Are you directive, or are you more guiding?
My whole goal is to guide. I am built to guide.
Right, Tiana.
Yes.
That's wonderful. That's one of Tiana's questions.
Okay.
So, yeah. But and so in guiding, and I want to get back to mental health, because there are a lot of mothers out there, as you talk about all that you're doing, that don't have the tools or the strategies to help them maneuver and balance family life and work life.
Right.
What are some of those strategies that you can share? Just 1 or 2 strategies that you can share if a mother's looking right now and wanting to know, how can I get it together?
Right. So I do believe that it takes mental toughness. I say all us single moms are Olympians. We deserve a gold medal every single day of the week. I tell myself constantly, I am a champion. The things that we are able to do and prepare for before we leave the house is amazing. So I think it starts up here. So it's all connected. It is mental health. It is having that. But we have to be resilient in the face of challenges. And in fact, we're going to have consistent challenges and hurdles on a daily basis. And so when I think about resiliency for me as a single mom, and resiliency from a mental health perspective, they actually fall into the same categories. Just like I mentioned before, we have to have social support. Social support is like paramount to our mental health. We have to have friends and family around us who we can call when we need help, or just to talk to or talk through problems with. A therapist needs a therapist. A pastor still needs a therapist. We need people in our lives, We also have to realize that we have the power. Resiliency is really all about choice, and it's about the ability to be able to choose. And so asking yourself, what's really on my plate? What do I have on my plate right now that's healthy and or unhealthy that I can remove? And know that you have the power to take things off of your plate or add to your plate as you choose. No one's making that choice for you. And then when I think about resiliency, I also think about my sense of purpose. What is my purpose? Well, my purpose, number 1, is to serve God. My purpose is to be a great mother to my children. And, I have a wonderful colleague. We always talk about walking in our excellence. So having that as a mentality I'm coming through excellence, and I say this with love, and I don't mean it. I say it with humility because God has given it to me. But, the essence of who I am shows up in the room before I get there. They know Jessica because Jessica's coming in. I'm coming in with excellence. So believing that within myself, those are also a part of mental health. Having, feeding yourself with positive words of affirmation throughout the day, knowing that you are more than a conqueror, that you are capable. And I promise to God, I pray consistently throughout the day. And I ask for God's help when I can't do it on my own.
Wow.
So those are some of the strategies, as well as using my 5 senses to bring myself back to a place of peace. So in my home, I have tons of beautiful flowers all over the place. So I'm always engaging with my eyes. I love aromatherapy. So I have diffusers and candles and soft slippers, nice pajamas. I have my favorite beverages always nearby that make me feel relaxed. So really putting myself into my space and changing the atmosphere in my house. My kids always joke with me. I always have on my live coffee playing in the background. It's always jazz on the house.
And I love it because it gives you, as you said, you set the atmosphere.
Yes.
And so when you come into your home or you go anywhere else, that atmosphere stays with you. And that's important. So how has being a mother changed you? Has it in any way, especially being a single mom? Has it changed you?
Yes, absolutely. It has. I know that professionally, and again, I say everything with humility. When I did new home sales, because I did that too, I was good at new home sales. But if you put me back on the sales floor now, I'm gonna be 10 times better because I'm a mother, because I understand. And I'm fighting for something much different. It's not just for Jessica anymore. It's for my two children, and it's for our legacy and their children. And so as a mom, I'm thinking through a lot more things. I'm well prepared. I have snacks in my bag. We all have something in our bag for our kids. You're ahead of the game. You're behind the game. You're the backup plan. You're the whole thing. You got,
That's right.
Mama can do anything. So I'm prepared. They have prepared me for life. Yes.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. Well, Jessica, listen, we're going to take a break and we're going to come back. And when we come back, I'm going to, we're going to talk about being a mother and some more challenges and overcoming those. And and we're going to see what you say about some accomplishments as well.
Okay.
Okay. All right. All right. Folks, thank you for joining us. We'll be right back.
Thank you.
The Orangeburg County Conference Center supports downtown Orangeburg and our surrounding communities. The 6,000 plus square foot space is ideal for groups of up to 400 people attending corporate meetings, conventions, workshops, and special events. Conference Center staff are inspired to ensure that everyone can enjoy the modern amenities. State-of-the-art ballroom that accommodates up to 400 guests banquet style and 430 guests theater style. A warming kitchen with hot boxes, ice machine, refrigerator, freezer, and counter space. A lobby that accommodates 150 guests with special events outdoors. The comfortable outdoor amphitheater has a video wall and seating. Adjacent to the amphitheater is 12,000 plus square feet of green space that extends events outside, plus complimentary on-site event parking and additional parking across the street. Your event can take place all in one spectacular location. We welcome your special event in Orangeburg.
You're invited to the Summer Pop-Up Shop Saturday, July 22nd, 2023 from 10 to 4 p.m. Orangeburg County Conference Center, 1643 Russell Street. Vendors and food trucks. Shop your local brands. For more information, Tammy Media Group, LLC.com. Again, you're invited to the Summer Pop-Up Shop Saturday, July 22nd, 2023 from 10 to 4 p.m. Orangeburg County Conference Center, 1643 Russell Street. Vendors and food trucks. Shop your local brands. For more information, Tammy Media Group, LLC.com.
My name is Randy Dantrell Heath, and you are watching The Tammy Show.
Hello and welcome back to the show. Listen, we have a great show. We've been having a great show, and I have been talking with a phenomenal woman. If you're just joining us, Jessica Rojas, who is a licensed professional counselor associate and mother, is really talking to us because this is, as I said, we are coming to the close of the end of the month, and we are talking about motherhood and mental health, your mental health. So Jessica, I want to thank you again for joining the show. You gave us some great nuggets about walking in excellence. I love that. I want to ask you, being a mother, what has been the most challenging thing that you went through and how did you overcome that?
I'm overcoming. So let me not say that I have overcome it. My generation of children they're relatively young. I think they're Generation Z, if I have that correct. And they are loaded down in technology. They are constantly infused with information from everywhere. And so they're learning at a much faster rate than we learned when I grew up in the 90s. And so the biggest hurdle that I have is to make sure that I am managing time on their devices and what they're seeing on social media, what they're seeing on YouTube, because we know TikTok isn't just for kids. There's a lot of adult things that are on there. So really governing that time and giving my kids an opportunity to really do old school playing, like go in their bedroom and play, go outside and play, and cultivating reading within the home. So it's a consistent work that I have to do with them. And it is a battle because, you know, a lot of their friends have cell phones. A lot of their friends have devices that they're walking around with. So for me, they're not getting them until they need them. And if they need to make a phone call, there's an adult nearby. So that's the way.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, you're right. I feel you. My daughter's 28 years old, so she is the generation, what is that? X? Not Gen Z, Gen X, I
Gen X.
believe.
I think she's Gen X.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Gen X, I think. Yeah.
Mhm.
So things are different than
Right.
when we all grew up.
Right.
And so having to deal with that,
Right.
but by you being a mental health therapist, you know,
Mhm.
I'm sure that you kind of throw a little bit of your strategies in there
Oh,
here
yeah.
and now.
Yes, I
Yeah,
do.
yeah.
I do.
So what's the biggest accomplishment as a parent? What's your biggest accomplishment?
My biggest accomplishment, honestly, is when my kids can go to bed at night and they pray to God. And when my son is in trouble, he says, "Dear God, can you please help me?" So to know that I have planted that seed
Hmm.
and that I continue to water that seed is my greatest accomplishment thus far.
Wow. And what did you learn from your mother that you are imparting to your children now?
My mother, I would say, is one of the strongest women that I've seen in my life. I will say, I'll be very candid. We do not have the closest relationship now. We really haven't had a whole closest relationship. But we are very similar from the standpoint. I always tell people that I walked on hot coals most of my life. And so having and seeing her do the same thing and yet persevere. You know, my mom went back to school, nursing school with 5 children. And, you know, because I come from a family of five kids who were like stair step children. So literally like right behind one another. I watched her at 3 a.m. sit at the dining room table and study for nursing school. We were very poor growing up, but she worked her hardest and she taught me that you can do anything that you want to do if you put your mind to it. So I would say that she also taught me, along with my grandmother, to have really strong interpersonal skills and hone relationships, which I find to be the paramount of my success, period. Is that prayerfully I'm able to walk into a room and I know, not that I know everybody, but I'm able to build rapport and relationship with people relatively easily. So those 2 women, my mother and my grandmother and my 2 aunts, have played an integral part of who I am.
Wow. That is amazing.
Mhm.
Because you know it's your parents that you learn from,
Right.
one way or the other, good or bad. You
Correct.
know, good or
Yes.
bad.
Right.
What's the biggest accomplishment in your career?
I would say I haven't reached it yet. I am like, I have just started this much, just
Okay.
that much. So I am very proud to say that my practice is booming. I'm very proud. Most of all, my accolades come from my patients' successes. So when I hear stories, I had one patient today, I said, just confirming our appointment for Saturday. She said, I'm beating your door down. You can believe I'm going to be there. So those things make me feel good to know that the work that I'm doing is valuable and people's lives are being changed. For me, that's the greatest part of what I've done thus far. What I plan to do, I don't even know what God has all the way for me. I am
Mm,
really now a part of the leadership team with Mount Moriah. I can't wait to see what we do there at the church.
mhm,
And for my practices, that'll be across the country and internationally.
mm,
It's just time. The only difference between my goals, the goals of myself, is time. That's
mhm.
it. It's just a matter of time.
God's timing. It's God's
Amen.
timing. It is
Amen.
God's timing. Now,
Amen.
now, what advice would you have for
Mhm.
someone seeking therapy and counseling? What advice do you have?
I would say if you're thinking about it, then this message is for you. The message is to answer what God has been pulling at your heartstrings to do, which is to seek help. We all need help. We're all going through something. At some point or another, you're going to say, I wish I had someone to talk to. And, you know, I said for myself, I said, you know, it must be really nice to be able to pick up the phone and text your therapist and say, hey, can I have an appointment? And know that you can have someone to talk through and process through and who's trained and who's using evidence based practices and who can give you all this stuff Because one of the things that I would say to separate me from maybe I think other therapists is that I really like to give people skills. I don't want to just have you come in and talk. I want you to walk out with something tangible. So most people have a notebook and they're taking notes down and they're practicing in it throughout the week. So if you're looking for a therapist, reach out, ask for the help that you need. It is about finding the right therapist. It's important that you have that, you feel connected and you can open up, because that is crucial in the therapeutic relationship. Is the number one thing that actually forms change, is the therapeutic alliance between the patient and the client. But reach out. No judgment, just reach out.
Just reach out. Yeah. And therapy is not bad. I tell people all the time, I have a therapist. Everybody,
Right.
you need one. I'm
Right.
sorry, you need one.
Right. We
in
all
your
need
life.
one.
We all,
Yeah.
and even the therapist, like you said earlier, needs a
Is
therapist.
a therapist. That's correct.
Now,
That's
talk
correct.
about the takeaways that you want the viewers to glean from this interview.
The takeaways for tonight would be, this is kind of off subject. I would say, number one, I want people, and I hope that people can learn to walk in their authentic self and learn to be just authentic about who they are. I think a lot of people are hiding behind who they are because they didn't want their light to shine because it's so bright, or they've been telling themselves lies, or they've believed the lies that people have told them about themselves. So I want people to feel empowered enough just to be themselves. And when it is that they need help, again, for mental health or help from friends or family, reach out, use your voice, advocate for yourself, be your own advocate for what it is that you need. I think another thing that stands out to me is that I think emotional vulnerability is what prevents people from being able to ask for the help that they need, especially women. We don't want to appear weak. We have to be, especially in the African American community, women want to be seen as strong. So if I ask for help, or if I let a friend know that I'm struggling in this area, then they're going to judge me. And that's what I hope to bring to Mount Moriah, is to remove judgment, that, I have to be a certain way. I need to respond in this way, or I need to be doing it that way. All things are working together for our good, for those who love the Lord and who are called according to his purpose. So we just need to be authentic about it. As in terms of motherhood, you're doing a great job. If nobody told you today, you're doing a phenomenal job. Going.
Hey, thank you so much for that. I needed that. We all are.
Yes.
We
yes.
all are. Well,
Yes.
I've enjoyed talking with you, and I didn't ask you about your organization for women, your nonprofit organization for women. We don't have a lot of time, but kind of quickly give us an overview and how we can help.
Actually, the nonprofit for women, I don't have open right now. I know you mentioned that earlier. So it's not to say it won't happen. The Red Shoe Inc. was a nonprofit that I opened in 2009, completely connected to me going back to school for my master's degree. I was in my early 20s with this whole concept of really the red represented the blood of Jesus. The shoe represented the perpetual forwardness and growth that we wanted our women to have, to be fearless, to be shameless, and to be bold. And I was running a lot of psychoeducational groups for women where we were doing, some mind-blowing things early on, before I was even a licensed therapist. And so at some point, I will go back to doing that when I free myself up a little bit more. But we collected money for cancer. We fed the homeless. We did these workshops the fourth Saturday of every month. That was in Delray Beach, Florida. And so at some point when I have a little more time, I'll go back to doing it full blast. But at the current moment, my main focus is to get my practice completely launched, because I am working basically kind of on a part-time shift. And then once I do that, then it's over with from there.
It's on and popping.
On. I always tell people my record's about to drop in September. It's going to drop.
All right. Come on, Jessica. I heard that. Well, listen, Jessica, before we leave, 3 words that describe you.
Fearless, courageous, bold.
Fearless, courageous, and bold. Wow. Well, you know what, Jessica, I have enjoyed talking with you, and we'll have you come back. I always love having a mental health therapist. Cynthia Washington Williams, I want to thank her for
Okay.
connecting us, because
Mhm.
she's the resident mental health
Yes.
therapist on the Tammy
Yes.
Show. But now I got another one.
Yes.
And so I want to thank you so much for being on the show. And if there's anything that we can do here for you, please let us know.
Okay, will do. And thank you for having me. Cynthia is my
Yeah.
mentor. Her and Amy Mitchell Washington.
All right. That's
Those
right.
are my giants. Those are my giants in my life.
That's right. That's right. Well, listen, we want to thank them both and
Yes.
wish them well and wish you well on all
Thank
that you have and what God has for you. And I know that what God has for you is for you, and you're doing it, girl.
Amen. Well, thank
You're
you.
doing it. Yeah.
By His
Okay.
grace.
Well, listen, thank you so much, and the best to your children and your family.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks a lot. Take care now, Jessica.
You too.
All right. Bye-bye. I tell you what, this has been a great show. I don't know about you, but I gleaned a lot from this interview, learning so much from Jessica. You know, walk in your authentic self. And, you know, I always talk about being authentic on this show and just walking in excellence, just all of the nuggets that she just dropped. I hope you heard it. And if you didn't, go back and play it again when we put it back out on YouTube. So I want to thank you, viewers, for always tuning in to Tammy. You know, next week we're going to be speaking with Mr. Haywood John. He's going to be talking about the joys of fatherhood. So I want to thank our producer, Alicia. Of course, assistant producers, Willie, Tiana, and Felicia. You know, I love you all. Couldn't do it without you. And remember, subscribe to the Tammy TV show right on the YouTube channel. Just hit that subscribe button, please. And take care of yourself. I always tell you, let's be a blessing to somebody today and every day, and take care of yourself every day. Until the next time, take care. Bye-bye. Join us on the next Tammy, where I will be talking with Mr. Haywood John, father, educator, and minister. He's going to be talking about the joys of fatherhood. So join us on the Tammy TV Show YouTube channel, Thursday at 7 p.m. See you then.